everyone, this is Cindy, and I am working on some fabric envelopes and pockets. I mentioned earlier I was making some last week when I was trying to clean out my fabric stash, and then today I bought some fabric at a garage sale, so I thought the best use for those would be to make pockets too. So I thought, well, I'm going to show these in the same video. So the lady I bought the fabric from today, or the family I bought it from, the lady obviously was a quilter because there was a lot of quilted blocks already made up, and they had a not too big basket thing full of them, and I'm going through and saying I want this one, I don't. Finally I just quit going through. I was grabbing too many, so I'll show you those in a minute. But first of all, I want to show you the envelopes I've made in the past. I've shown these in the past. I don't know if I showed how I made them, but I know I showed them already made, and I started making them, I remember quite well. It was that first month or two we were locked down for COVID, because I remember sitting at my dining room table, had fabric out, and then when people started making fabric masks, I got some of the fabric and made a couple of masks from there. So our first mask I ever made. So anyway, how I make both of these is basically the opposite, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But just take some fabric and a book page, and the book page needs to be a size that you like when it's folded up. It makes a nice size envelope. And I simply just put a little bit of glue, and this is my not real good of Fabri-Tac, because I just need a little bit to dot around so I don't have to worry about getting a bunch out. Just enough to kind of hold it on the edges, and then a little bit in the middle to kind of hold it too. And if your fabric has an up or down, then you put the page down the opposite, because that way when you cut it out and you fold it over and the inside of the flap, the words will be correct. But when it's there's no direction, you don't have to really worry about it. So just cut it, put it down like that. And you know, I forgot to get my pinking shears, which is a point I was going to make. I cut mine out usually with pinking shears. You kind of see that. But you don't have to if you don't have pinking shears, so this works out well. Let me just grab my fabric scissors from over there. You could do it just straight line. Either way you do it, you just cut it up near that book page. And then I sew around mine. That's why I don't bother gluing close to the edges. If you don't have a sewing machine, then you obviously would glue a little closer and take a little bit more care with the edges. You can always go back in if it didn't glue well and fix it. But I like stitching around them. I think it finishes them off. And okay, there's that. So once you get it cut out like that, then of course you take it to your sewing machine, stitch around it if you want, or if not, then you just do this next part and you fold it up almost the whole way, maybe an inch or so, inch and a half down. And then what's great about this paper is it really helps that fabric really fold well. And then just fold your flap over, and pretty much you're done except for a little bit of glue. And it's easy to glue on the paper. I just put it right down the stitching. And hold it together. And then it's up to you how you want to decorate them, if you want something to hold the flap down or not. And when I use these in a journal, I just slip them in a pocket. I don't glue them on the page because, you know, it's got that fabric on the back, but that's just preference, whatever you want. So anyway, that's the way I make these. I just glue the page onto the fabric. Okay. The other way I do it with this new fabric I got today, let's talk about this a little bit. It was in a, sandwich bag, or big one, gallon-sized bag. And I knew it was quilt pieces that they had cut out. And I knew that because there was the patterns they used. And I'm pretty sure, when I looked at it, I thought, oh, that looks like old feedset fabric or just old vintage fabric. I was thinking it was just like a reproduction, but once I got it open and looked, I decided this is really vintage fabric because of the patterns they used. It was for like pantyhose, and the kind, you know, not pantyhose, the stockings, the ones before the panty part got invented. So I'm not sure how old these are, but they were 95 cents for 2 pair. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure this is vintage fabric. And when I said it was the opposite of the way I made these I glue the book page to the fabric. On these, I glue the fabric to the book page. And when I looked at this, I thought, what am I going to do with these pieces of fabric? And I think originally the quilt is something like that, and I probably should know the name of it, but I don't. I have a friend that loves to quilt. But anyway, what am I going to do with this weird shaped fabric? And I thought, you know, I could fold it in half and it would make a little pocket. See if I have one already done. I do. Oh, right here beside me. So it's like a little boat. It can, I'm really thinking about gluing these onto the page, even though the fabric's on the back. Glue it on the page and it can be just a little pocket like that. So of course, obviously, you probably don't have the same fabric I do, the same pattern, but this pattern is, I'm sure, easy to come by, and you know, I'm sure if you really wanted to do something like this, you can come up with it, or come up with something even better maybe. The person that cut these out wasn't exact. It could have obviously been me doing it, because my pieces when I did quilts never quite were the same, so they didn't always meet real well. So I'll show you how I dealt with that in a minute. So anyway, just put a glue, Fabri-Tac is what I'm using, and just glue it down. I went around the edges just about the same as I did the other. I wasn't really concerned whether I got it done or not, and I just started mass producing these, because look at all these great fabrics. And you know, I cut it out, and oops, something fell. It's my glue card. So I just took paper scissors, trimmed around it, and once again, you don't have to sew these. You could if you want. And now that I'm thinking about it, if I'm going to glue it to the page, even if I'm not gluing to the page, I think I kind of glued them wrong, and I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Anyway, just trim them out, and I fold them in half, and then check how they fit, because like I said, whoever did these, one side of their pattern was flatter than the other. See how that's not quite matching up? This one's really bad. Or maybe I should look on this side. It looks a lot prettier. Do it on this side. What's nice about the paper is if you want to change your fold, you can. No one will ever see it. So then I go through and I just trim up if I see there's too much paper. And like here, there's a little bit of paper showing. A little bit there. So you can reshape it if you want. There's a whole lot. This one, yeah, had a whole lot of, not quite even, but it's okay. Okay, so what I was thinking was when I sewed them, and I'll show you some I've already done, I just took them to my sewing machine and stitched all the way around. But since I don't have to worry about a flap, I could have just taken it to the sewing machine and just stitched this way and been done with it. Stitched it close. So that's in thought too, but I had just stitched around the whole thing, and I was going to take my glue and glue it closed just like I did the first one. So either way works. But anyway, if you're out and about at a yard sale, you might find some old quilting squares, or I don't know what this case is. These would not be called squares, but something. And you can make some pockets. So I'm going to make some for my bird journal, and I think I will do that next, and then I will pick up another video, maybe, I'm not sure how long this one is, and showing me putting the pockets into my bird journal, because I have a few more besides the fabric ones to put in there. So anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys later. Bye.